Hi, welcome to the BoshNRoll channel. I'm your host, Brian Koval. Before we get started, make sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons. If you want to see me play your favorite deck or your spicy brew on the channel, I take donation deck lists. I'll do a deck tech, play a full Magic Online League, and help tune your list. If that sounds good, check out my contact info. It's in the video description below. Now let's go play some Magic. Welcome to another BoshNRoll video. Today I'm playing Legacy Infect. This is a list from Patreon subscriber Eric, and Eric said I could pick the list, but wanted to see some Infect. He had one stipulation, was that if the deck had Blossoming Defense, I should try Snakeskin Veil instead. He had a theory that the +2/+2 on Blossoming Defense was worse than the +1/+1 counter because most removal spells are played outside of combat, which is an interesting thing to test. Unfortunately, this list doesn't have either, so we're not going to get that today, Eric, sorry. But what we do have is some sweet new technology in Mavinda, Student's Advocate. So 2/3 flying for 0 mana, activated ability. You may cast target instant or sorcery from your graveyard this turn. If that spell doesn't target a creature you control, it costs 8 more to cast this way. If a spell would be put into your graveyard this way, exile it instead. Activate this ability only once each turn. So you get to refire all your pump spells, basically. Well, like one per turn, but your graveyard becomes like a second hand, kind of. And notably, Invigorate costs 0 mana. And this doesn't give it flashback the way Snapcaster Mage would. It just says you may cast it, the way Mission Briefing or Yawgmoth's Will would. So you can use the alternate cost out of the graveyard. So you Invigorate, target Invigorate with this, Invigorate again, opponent takes 9 poison just from one spell. So that's pretty powerful. This card, it was in all of the recent Infect lists I could find. There were only 4 of them, but there were 2 challenge lists, 1 paper list, and this 5-0 league. And this is the list from the 5-0 league, and all of them had Mavinda in there. Also from Strixhaven, we have Quandrix Command. Bounce target creature or planeswalker, counter target artifact or enchantment spell, put 2 counters on a creature, +1 counters. Target player shuffles 3 cards from their graveyard into their library. I'm not sure when this is going to come up. This is 3 mana for a lot of mediocre stuff, but I'm going to try this list as is. I have not built an Infect deck in a long time, and I'm going to trust the decisions in this deck. That said, there is significantly fewer Vines of Vastwood type effects than I would expect, like the hexproof kind of stuff. Maybe I'm just used to seeing modern lists, and it's been a while since I looked at a legacy list. But this list is leaning hard on Force of Will, Daze, and Spell Pierce to get its creatures across the combat zone. Normally, I think there's like somewhere between 4 and 8 of these hexproof effects. But again, I might just be thinking of modern lists and be behind the times a little. The spread of pump spells, they're basically all bangers. There's nothing that's just pumping for 2 here. There is Scale Up that's basically +5/+3 on any 1/1. It becomes base power toughness 6/4. Vines is the classic. It's a +4/+4, and the hexproof is pretty important. And then Invigorate +4, Become Immense +6. And that's all of them. You got Noble Hierarch and Pendelhaven that can add a point here and there. But as far as going for the face, basically every single one of these things becomes lethal with Berserk. Every one of these things gives the creature 5 or more power. So that's how these decks are being built right now. That's cool with me. In the sideboard, we got 2 Uros for when we need to change plan. And other than that, it's some normal Bant kind of stuff. I got a Teferi. This will be good. It's kind of like a defense grid, like a one-sided defense grid. Like once Teferi sticks, you know you're good to go. Then Force of Vigor, Surgical Attraction. These are all just legacy cards you'd expect to be in a Bant deck. So let's go see if we can put 10 poison damage on our opponents. Alright, so I'm on the play for round number 1. I have a Daze and a Threat, but this is not an island for the Daze. I am going to keep this and try to play sort of a more medium-sized game. Rather, like this obviously isn't a turn 2 win hand, but I think Noble Hierarch is a good start. And then I can cast Sylvan Library with Spell Pierce back up on turn 2. It's pretty solid. I also get to pretend I'm Maverick for a turn, which is fun. Like, maybe if my opponent leads on a Ponder or something, they'll make a different choice than they would if I were, if they knew I was Infect. That Wasteland is pretty good. I kind of hope they just snap it off. I think that would not be a good play, but it is one they could make. So I could just hang this Inkmoth Nexus out in front of the Wasteland. But I think getting the days online is going to be way more interesting to me. Okay, so now I have Spell Pierce and Daze up against this Wasteland deck, and I'm about to start drawing a million. Okay, so this could be a Delver deck with just with Flooded Strand as their blue fetch land of choice. Right, Underground Sea and Wasteland. Okay, they're just up to something else over here. So I can ignore this Bob, or I could Daze it. I think I'm going to ignore it. I want to use my counter spells to push my Infect threats through. Ooh, Bird Mother. So I think I just want all these cards. And then I'm gonna probably cast Bird Mother and Ponder, or Ponder then Bird Mother. Yeah, I'd rather start with the Ponder. Ooh, that's a lot of Invigorates. I want at least one of these Invigorates. Because I do want, if they tap out of this Wasteland, I do want to kill them. Caca! I hope they force this. I'd be pretty happy to Daze. That would pick up my blue source, as well as set them back a land. This card is on the stack. Welcome to Legacy. Alright, she's in there. So now damaged base removal basically doesn't affect me. At instant speed, I can just like give a creature +8/+8. So Wasteland is a huge bummer. I would feel like we were winning this game 100% if Wasteland wasn't in play. But I can still start beating down for 3 a turn and like just pivot into damage. That's kind of fun. So let's see what, also how much damage Bob decides to do to the opponent will affect my life point plan. Like Infect can pivot into life point damage, like that is like a reasonable thing that the deck does sometimes. You just don't want the Arnold Palmer where you just leave them on like 10 life and 5 poison. Recruiter of the Guard. Oh, is this Esper Vial? Wow, if they cast this card, they lose. Like on the spot. I get to go a double Invigorate Berserk with counterspell backup. Second Wasteland here sucks, because now they can cast spells and still waste me. I guess Vines of Vastwood is my best draw. They didn't main phase the Wasteland, so that does give me a window to find Vines. They should have done it on their turn. They should do it now, if they're going to do it. Alright, no Vines. Put on... Do I want to put on top? I can't pay 8. Alright, I'll put on top and pay 4 for this one. Do I want to Ponder or Brainstorm here? I think every card in my hand is part of the plan here. Maybe Daze isn't so much part of the plan. So I think I want to be pondering and looking for exactly Vines of Vastwood. Also, this Bird Mother denied their attack. Alright, Glistener Elf actually is great here, so... Draw Glistener. Then... Animate Inkmoth. I'm gonna make them waste me. Like they're operating under some constricted resources here. Like they're missing at least like a whole color. Okay. That's a fine place to do that, I suppose. Alright, so that's dead, and then I can play Glistener Elf. And I'm still holding up Spell Pierce. And Daze. I'll just attack for 3. Do I have a lethal attack here? I guess I should do the math with this Invigorate. Because I have Invigorate, Berserk, and Daze, and they're at 16. So I can make this a 7, 11. I can attack for 22, and they would be at 22. Wait, I have a lethal attack with a Daze? Oh my god. Make sure I have this math right. 8 plus 3 is 11. Times 2 is 22. 6 times 2, or 6 plus 16 is 22. So I have exact damage here if I push. But I have basically no plan to rebuild if I don't do that. Alright, whatever. Let's push. 19. Caw. 22. They need 2 free counter spells here. If I had done the math, then I probably just should not have animated my Inkmoth Nexus at all. Alright, yeah, that was insane. First game. Mavinda Students Acolyte, or Advocate, already showing up. Into the sideboard we go. So we're playing at some sort of Esper Creatures deck, maybe Esper Vial. I don't know that Dark Confidant is usually in that deck. In fact, I'm pretty sure it's not. But, alright. Swords of Plowshares probably coming in here. I like Teferi. Maybe this is a Quandrix Command matchup. I said I wasn't sure what that was for, but here we are. So let's figure out what I'm bringing in, or what I'm taking out, rather than piling up stuff to bring in. Sylvan Library won that game. Daze might be medium. Spell Pierce. If they're like mostly creature based, Spell Pierce loses a lot of its value. Maybe Quandrix Command is just too goofy. Yeah, I'll bring in Teferi 3 removal spells. I still have Daze and Force and the Vines to push through. Yeah, I'll try this. Until I see more of their deck, this like looks as good as anything else. Alright, we have Teferi on turn 2, no less. So I can play Noble Hierarch on turn 1 with Daze backup. Not that Daze is really meant to back up a Noble Hierarch, but it's there. I can cast Teferi on turn 2 with Daze backup, is what I'm saying. Alright, do I need to play around Stifle, or were they playing around Stifle? I think they were playing around Stifle. That is a card that has been in Infect as like a 1 or 2 of in the past, because you can Stifle a Wasteland. I'm just going to thin my deck out and start building up to this Become Immense by fetching instead of just running my land out there. It'd be pretty crazy if they like tap out for Dark Confidant and then I resolve Teferi, protect it with Daze, and bounce their Dark Confidant. Like, that is my plan here. Then Teferi is just like in play. I hope they force Teferi. Oh my god. I haven't blown out a Force of Will with a Daze in a long time. Looks like I'm not about to start. Okay, so I have Invigorate plus Become Immense for this Blighted Agent. We're on a 2-turn plan here. I can plow the Dark Confidant. Though they may have Plague Engineer in this deck, so I might end up with a better target, because Noble Hierarch and Blighted Agent are both humans. Oh yeah. I end up being down a mana either way, and this at least keeps this creature out of play. Oh, Bird Mother. Absolutely broken Bird Mother. Alright, let's hope they don't have 2 Plague Engineers, because my board is mono humans and I'm out of counter spells. That's not true, actually. I can Invigorate Blighted Agent in response and then plow the Engineer. So I can start my turn with Blighted Agent in play. And then Bird Mother can Invigorate it. I don't know. I don't want to do that. Like, I have the win lined up if I untap with all my stuff. Okay, that one works. Every time. Is Bob back? Sure. I think I should just plow this. Because guess who's coming? It's Bird Mom. Hashtag Bird Mom. This is not a deck that's going to cast back to basics or anything on me. I haven't seen a basic land out of them yet. So I'm going to grab my Savannah. I'm going to cast Bird Mom and Noble Hierarch number 2. I don't think attacking for 1 is better than getting my mana just super set up under me here. So they're at 20. I attack for 4, 8, 12, 18. Yeah, not even close. Really need the Berserk. +6/+6 is not even close to +11/0. Right, what insane bomb can they get? Probably another Plague Engineer. Yep. Alright, yeah, that'll be really good next turn. Oh, is it really good right now? Oh, they have Fatal Push. Either way. Okay, they are Esper Vial. The first appearance of Vial is here. Let's just draw Berserk and win the game. What if I hardcast Summon Invigorates? So Invigorate only deals 1 damage when you don't have a double effect, or Infect. So 4, I can hardcast one of them. 4, 8, and then the next 8 is actually 2, so that's 10, 16. I can deal 16 damage to their 19 net total. Wait, can I become immense twice? Is that an option? So I invigorate. No, probably not even close. This is Delve 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, no, not even a little bit. I can hardcast and invigorate on Bird Scholar. Oh, I'm still on my draw step. I could also bounce Recruiter and hope to spike, but I can... That sounds pretty bad, though. Like, compared to just having impunity with my spells. Alright, so I'm gonna attack And I want to hard cast one of these probably. If it doesn't target a creature you control. All right, yeah, so I'm not even close to flashing back the Swords to Plowshares. Like, not even close to close. Should I be putting damage on my opponent? Probably. Invigorate. This card's been pretty good in the 2 games I've played so far. It showed up both times. 8. I'm just going to do the math one more time. I'm sure you're all sick of this, but 8, 12, 16, 22, and they would be at 26. Yeah, I'm pretty far short here. Maybe I want to set up a Become Immense for next turn. Like if I fire one off now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Leave a card in the graveyard to maybe refire Become Immense next turn. Wait, why are they... Oh, damage was already done? Oh, come on. I just misclicked. Whoops. Great. Okay, so I lost track of what phase I was in, maybe? Is, like... Yeah, they could be at 5, but... And now Become Immense is gone for no reason. Alright, hard mode. Baleful Strix, that one's going to be tough to beat. That's one that I might have to bounce with Teferi. Good news is if they Wasteland me... I guess they can't Wasteland me and cast this card. Do you name Bird? Bird Advisor? Yeah, Recruiter of the Guard can attack for 1, put a damage on Teferi, so I can't bounce and keep it. If I draw a fetch land, 2, 6, 12, I can actually win this game. I guess Teferi puts itself in the graveyard anyway. Oh, but I need a land to cast the Invigorate. Got there. Well, if they were at 5, this turn would be a lot easier, but I'm hoping that I just win anyway. Let's find out. Do they have Force of Will? Do they have Daze? Am I just winning the game anyway? Probably should have left Invigorate in the graveyard. In case I get another turn with Bird Mom. Yep, so they would be dead if I didn't hunt my combat damage last turn. Yep, you're at -2. Go. Now it's going to be hard to get through this Baleful Strix with Aether Vial on too. I don't... I guess Berserk still wins me the game. Like, I attack Berserk up to 4, flashback Berserk up to 8, and it's trample damage through the Death Touch creature. Oh, they pitched the Strix to force. Well, that's good news. Still looking for Berserk, though. Alright, do you have a Strix or not? Alright, looks like they're just taking 2. Nice. Alright, this is not a human. Glad I checked that after it was already on the stack. So they have 1 card in their hand, and they haven't done anything. But now Vial's on 3. But I think if they had Flicker Wisp, they would have flickered their Recruiter to get a Baleful Strix, and then they could have blocked all in that turn. So I think their last card in hand is not useful. Wow! Got away with that one. Just threw away a Become Immense. Didn't need that 6 damage, and turns out literally didn't need it. On to the next round. On the draw for round 2, this is clearly a mulligan. Though you would win the game on the spot if you keep that hand and rip a tropical island. But we're not here to... I'm not playing like that. So I'm going to keep this hand and probably bottom a Ponder. I think having threat density, like if I keep 2 Ponders, 1 Blighted Agent, like basically the only options here are bottom a Ponder or a Blighted Agent. I guess you could bottom a land and hope to Ponder into a second land and then play off that. I think that's like kind of optimistic because like you would use that Ponder to look for either a second threat or a second land, and my hand already has a second threat and a second land in it. Alright, so I get to skip getting blown out by Stifle here, though most decks that have basic lands don't play Stifle. So I like everything that's going on here. I don't really like the Noble Hierarch, but I'm not locked into it. Like, I can fetch and shuffle it away next turn. Though the idea of just playing Inkmoth Nexus and presenting 2 poison threats on turn 2 is pretty exciting. Oh god, we're getting shown and told. And if they put in Emrakul, maybe we win. Alright. Can we punch through this? Probably not, because they just have Force of Wills in their deck. They can pay 14 with complete impunity. Because I'm not attacking their life total. Alright, the combo deck, the combo mirror is going to be kind of interesting. Alright, I definitely don't want this Noble Hierarch at this point. I'm going to attack for my 1 poison. There's no reason to jam these Invigorates. I don't want them to know what I'm working with. And I'm probably going to lose this turn. Like, they just Grizzlebrand draw their way up to more show and tells, and then like put in Sneak Attack and add Emrakul to the attack party, or find Omniscience. So this game is basically lost unless they somehow have nothing in the top 21 cards of their deck. They really did just put that show and tell on the stack turn 2 in the face of Tropical Island Ponder. Like, forget about a Daze. Don't care about Force of Will. Let's go. That means their hand is either full of counter magic or they have a second show and tell. Yeah, there was no way to stack that Ponder. Like, even with like 20/20 perfect hindsight, the Ponder wasn't Brainstorm. If it was Brainstorm, we could have represented 10 poison. But it wasn't. Yeah, there's the sneak. And here comes land, and here comes Emrakul. And there she is. Alright, yep, dead. So I'm going to be bringing in the Flusterstorm for sure. What else is in this sideboard? Probably want... Ooh. Quandrix Command. Counter target enchantment spell. Sneak attack anyone. Alright, Quandrix Command, you're in. Teferi's in. So, Surgical Extraction is a big debate in the... against Sneak and Show. Just historically throughout Legacy, people are like, do we want this against Sneak and Show or not? Because they are a deck that only has 8 cards in their deck that can win the game, and it's 2 different 4-ofs, and then they have 8 cards in their deck that can put those 4-ofs into play, and those are 2 different 4-ofs. So if you can pick off any one of those, it's going to go a long way. Like, hitting any one of those knocks out 25% of their ability to win the game. So there is some interest in this, but then, like, in order to get those cards in the graveyard, you have to survive the first volley, which is not a guarantee. So it's kind of a push and pull, but I know that JPA, the Sneak and Show god, brings them in against Sneak and Show when he's playing control. So, like, I feel like if anybody knows what's supposed to be going on in that matchup, it's him. So I think I can cut some of the pump spells, like some of the ones that take longer to get online at least. Like Wasteland's not going to matter in this matchup. I gotta cut 3 more cards. Like, Invigorate's still good. Like, I don't think there's going to be time for Sylvan Library. Not sure how many Noble Hierarchs I'm going to get away with here. But, I mean, that is one of the better starts in the deck. But I want to draw exactly one. Drawing the second one is just always bad. And maybe Bird Mother has to go here to make room for all my other spells. Alright, fine. This is the deck I'm going to present. It has all of the poison threats still in it, every counter spell. Okay, this one is much more presentable. It doesn't have a poison threat, but I can try to find one. I have 3 counter spells galore. And I do have the Wham Bam for when I find my poison threat. This is one of those hands where you're just like, I would trade any one of these cards at random for a Glistener Elf. Right, show me Blighted Agent. Inkmoth Nexus will play. Okay, so if they Blood Moon me, I lose. Hopefully that doesn't happen. I have a turn 3 win here on the play with Counterspell backup. Just gotta hope we're not dead before that. It'll actually be 2 Counterspells backup functionally, because I'll have... God, they're just going? Oh no, they're not. Okay. Wow, that scared me. So this deck can't play Chalice of the Void because its cantrips are too important. This was really interesting. Like, by leading on Ancient Tomb, that means Ponder resolves, but it means they can't play a blue land to continue cantripping this turn. It looks like they're setting up for a big turn 2. Which I hope is not the case, because I need to get to turn 3. But if I do get to turn 3, I get to zap in for 10 poison with Vines and Force backup. Okay. I'm getting a turn. Good news, everybody. Okay, so make this a 1/1. Now I'm punching in with all kind... Oh, wait, no, I don't get Vines and Force because I have to cast Berserk. Never mind, it's just Force. Invigorate. And Berserk. Race car drivers. Vroom vroom. Alright, Brainstorm. I don't mind that. That taps them out of blue, so now if they force, I can force back without worrying about Spell Pierce. They could still daze me. Alright, there's their daze. Force their daze. And even if they win this counter war, they're still taking 5 poison, and they're gonna have to force pitch a blue card to get there. Right, force pitching daze. Okay, so they had multiple dazes. Alright, so take your 5 poison. And them being a combo deck here is pretty scary. Like, they could just turn the corner and win, but they are on a 3-turn clock. It might even be shorter than that with the vines involved. Alright, so I'm going to attack for my 2 poison. Maybe I'm supposed to ponder first in case I find Invigorate. Alright, I can ponder now. That was imperfect. Yeah, I wasn't thinking about Invigorate. I was like, I won't have any mana, I'll save it for second main. Yep, obviously. Well played, Brian. So, do I keep the Invigorate? Yeah, probably. Or, I think I stack it like this. I'm not sure if that matters, because if they cast Show and Tell, both their blockers have flying. Yeah, I should have just pondered before combat and won the game. Good job, good job. So they can cast Sneak Attack. They didn't have it. Okay, so now I can Invigorate my Ink Moth with Vines back up. I don't need to Pendelhaven it because I can play around Spell Pierce this way, and they're dead if this works. All right. Okay. Made a small misstep there with the waiting on the Ponder. Just forgot about Invigorate somehow, even though it's the most important card in the deck. But it's cool. Scoreboard. Does anything change here? Veil of Summer would certainly give me a lot of room to breathe. So we're in this like kind of battle cruiser situation where if I am the beatdown, like if my wheels are turning and theirs aren't, Veil of Summer is the best card. But if they're going off and I'm not, Veil of Summer is the worst card. And there's basically nothing in between. I guess I could like Veil in response to a Show and Tell to make sure my counterspell on the Show and Tell resolves, but even that sounds pretty medium. And what would I bring in for that? I guess I would cut a Surgical if that's the plan. Yeah, without discard, and I don't know. Surgical sucks too. Alright. These are both like pretty marginal cards that require specific situations to go well. So I'm gonna put in the Veil. I'm gonna plan to be on the front foot instead of planning on being on the back foot. This is a keep. It has Noble Hierarch to tie the room together at Force plus Spell Pierce. Good stuff. I have an extra blue card to pitch in addition to casting Spell Pierce. Opponent's on 5 over there. I'll take it. Even get to play around Blood Moon a little bit with the Noble Hierarch. Though I think that bringing in Blood Moon in this matchup is kind of greedy. There are definitely games where you just win with a Blood Moon, but there's a lot where you draw it and then you get poisoned. There is no basic in the deck, though. No basic forest. So if they Blood Moon, then Invigorate is turned off. All right, Berserk's a nice one. Getting closer and closer to actually winning the game. They daze this Hierarch, I'm screwed. All right, didn't happen. And I definitely need to get Hierarch in first, rather than push on this Glistener Elf. Uh-oh. Force of Will. Pitching Blighted Agent. They can protect this. I'm in a lot of trouble. Force, pitching, Brainstorm. Alright, I mean, It's gonna resolve. I hope it's just the Naked Omniscience. Please don't be Grizzlebrand. Uh-oh. That's the one that can draw cards and cast more spells. And I can't even draw Invigorate because I don't have a Forest. Right now I do have a Forest, but I don't think it matters. So get in for 3 poison, play the Glistener Elf probably. And this plays into Pyroclasm, but I'm not winning a game where I get Pyroclasmed anyway. Yeah, now they just get to draw a million. That was a strong 5-card hand. But that's the power of Sneak and Show. When you don't run into the deck's enormous fail rate, it's pretty easy to win. Alright, 1, 2. Berserk is still not lethal. Though I don't think it's going to come to that. Though they did draw 14 cards and then cast Ponder. So that's a good sign. Kinda, maybe. I don't know. I'll take it. 2, 4. This is still only 4 poison. They're gonna get an entire additional turn unless I draw Invigorate or some other pump spell. It's not looking good. Let's shuffle. So draw 14, Ponder Shuffle, and then Ponder Shuffle again. They're out of land drops now, so if they go for a Show and Tell or Sneak Attack, I can Spell Pierce it, though they certainly have days at this point. I hope they just bricked. They shuffled that Ponder as well. I mentioned Show and Tell's enormous fail rate. I'm hoping that they're hitting like the back end of the fail rate here. Because obviously they got Grizzlebrand into play, which was the first battle. But now they have to do something with that. They can attack and draw another 7 if they want to. I wonder what they're thinking about right now. Like, do I jam Sneak Attack into Daze? Do I start cracking Lotus Petals to Brainstorm, or do I have another turn to operate? Alright, there it is. Crack Lotus Petal for Brainstorm. That is the thing that I suspected they might be thinking about. They found another Lotus Petal. Storm is 6. If they have Grape Shot, we're dead. Let's kill all my creatures, deal 3 to me. Alright, we're moving to combat, so I'm not getting Emrakul this turn. They could still Show and Tell Omniscience and cast Emrakul. And that beats me. They're in pretty good shape to just pass the turn. Like, if there's a single Force of Will in their hand, they don't really have anything to worry about. Invigorate is the best draw. Invigorate's always the best draw. That's how Infect works. Because they could Show and Tell a second Grizzlebrand just on blocking duty. Attacking with 2 creatures is the same as attacking with 1 creature, except I don't get blown out by Lightning Bolt. God, I hope they didn't find a Pyroclasm. Alright, they're still cracking Lotus Petals to cast cantrips. I'll take that all day. Bottom. So shuffle to ponder, bottom to preordain. Oh, those were the Brainstorm cards. So they just bottomed the 2 cards from Brainstorm. They only actually saw 1 new card off that preordain. This is a fresh preordain. They're just spewing here. My god. I assume it's the right thing to do. Like, the Grizzlebrand just whiffed. But it doesn't look good. Bottomed that preordain. Let's just draw Invigorate. So 1, 2, 3, 9. I can put them to 9 poison with my hand right now, but obviously that is not enough. A second Noble Hierarch also presents lethal. Yeah, okay, I'm actually a lot closer than I thought I was. I think I was forgetting one of these 2 things when I was doing my math. Right, Daze is not what I wanted. So 1, 2, 3 times 2 is 6. If I attack with Glistener Elf, I don't get the Exalted trigger, which also is a point that doesn't double. So I actually lose 2 points of poison if I attack with both creatures. Okay, I think I just have to pass the turn with these counterspells available. I can't Berserk Grizzlebrand because then I would die. You can Berserk enemy creatures because a Berserked creature dies at the end of turn. but you can only cast it before the combat damage step, and it only dies if it attacked. So there's no place where you can just get got by Grizzlebrand. I guess I could have cast it last turn and just gone to 5. That might have been really good, actually. Missed the boat. Too late now. Okay, so they kept a card on top with Preordain. They just had a fresh draw step. They can draw 7 now and then 7 more second main. And I need Spell Pierce and Daze to hold the fort. Please be good enough. So if they have like a Spell Pierce of their own, I can fight back. Oh, if they pay, that's good for me too. If they just Spirit Guide pay, then I can Daze, and they can't Daze me back. But them having Spirit Guides in their deck, it means it's like really bad for me. Because they can draw 7, go to 1, and they have all those looks at another Spirit Guide. But how many total of that effect could they have? Also, now that I've seen them pitch this Spirit Guide, it means that I can't Daze. And I guess I'll still Daze. Because it's free. I get to pick up the Tropical Island, then put it back in when they reveal the show and tell. Maybe I'm like not supposed to do that, but that's not doing anything else. Okay, they pitched a mean Spirit Guide. Oh, nope, they realized they had mana floating. Alright, yeah, they could already pay for that. They wanted to pay again. Yeah, we're going to end up 1 point short here. Oh wait, Spell Pierce is still on the stack. What the fuck is happening in my brain right now? I don't know what's going on. I think we both lost track of that stack for a while there. Oh my god. I don't think I could have won that stack, but I definitely... Wow, my brain just short-circuited. All the mana floating and like them representing the Spirit Guide, like that got weird. Sneak attack, and then they have the Spirit Guide for the Omniscience, or the Emrakul. Okay. Alright. GG's. That was wild. Let me know if I'm pretty sure even if I was paying attention, that stack ends up the same way because they have so much fast mana against all my soft permission. But let me know if there was a way to navigate that, because I certainly lost track of it. Next round. We're on the play in round 3. Bird Mother is in hand. I'm pretty sure we lost last round because we boarded her out. She just needs to always be present. Is it he? I mean, this creature seems to have a giant beard. Alright, I think this is a dude. I'm still going to call it Bird Mother. I'm keeping this hand. It has a poison creature and a bunch of bump spells. Mavinda feels like a feminine name to me, but it's also completely made up. So, maybe this is a male character. Unclear. Gender non-specific, just like everyone else on my channel. Okay, Glistener Elf is in play. Let's go. Oh dear. Oh no. Oh no. We're about to get dumpstered by something. Chalice on 1's pretty good against Infect. Jesus, Emery's here now. Don't think I can beat any of these cards. They could also Echo right now. I wish they would. Alright, we got a flyer. A plan to beat down. If I overload this, it still is a 1 mana card. Like, that doesn't change the converted mana cost. I probably should have attacked there. Just, like... I guess they probably just block, because it's pretty cheap to do. But wow. Getting dumpstered by more powerful combo decks is not really where I wanted to be today, but it's where we find ourselves. Are we echoing? Oh, we're just getting latticed. Okay. Well played. Days. Oh, my kingdom for days right now. Just days off the top. Oh, Walking Ballista? Even better. Yeah, they can cast that on 2, play around days, and just never lose the game. Okay. I'm willing to concede to that. The Chalice is too much. That was some powerful stuff. Okay, so Force of Vigor is coming in. And Teferi can answer generic permanents. Quandrix command. Counter an artifact or enchantment. Bounce a creature or planeswalker. Those all seem like they might be reasonable things to do. Veil can make spells resolve through Chalice, but they're going to cast Chalice on 1 in the matchup, and Veil doesn't protect itself, so that's a no. Daze is probably kind of embarrassing here with how much fast mana they have. And they don't really have removal, so Vines of Vastwood is probably the worst of the remaining pump spells. Uro doesn't help me here. Flusterstorm mostly doesn't help, it only stops Echo. Yeah, I'm just gonna go in and hope that Force of Vigor can get us over the finish line. I have a turn 2 Teferi, and I have the Quandrix command. I'll keep this. I mean, Wasteland is also really good against Stompy decks. But, I mean, if they just stomp me on turn 1, it's not gonna matter. Alright. That's not an Ancient Tomb. I'll take that. Oh, just pass the old turn. Give it right back, huh? Return target artifact, creature, or enchantment to its owner's hand. Don't mind if I do. Alright, so boom, boom, boom. See if this resolves, I guess, would be the first check. Oh no, they're floating mana, they're doing stuff. They're dismembering my creature in response, sure. Bang! Oh, and picked up the days. Nice. So do I want to be just this like control deck or this I don't know what the play is here. I could just waste this Seat of the Synod. Or I could brainstorm and try to do more. I'm just gonna waste. Like, they kept this weird hand. They clearly don't have a better land to play or a spell to cast. So if I can keep them under this Daze and Spell Pierce for a minute, it could be worse. Alright, found the fetch land, that's what I wanted. Did not find the spell, or the creature, which is what I actually want. I'm going to continue to ignore the Savannah because blue mana is pretty important here. Alright, we're in business. So, I've made my land drop already, Blighted Agent. I think I want Force of Vigor in the hand, and then Blighted Agent under it. Teferi's ready to bounce something again. And then I have the Spell Pierce and Force of Will available. If they do get anything into play. Alright, fella. Guess they can charge up Blast Zone, but then they would have to lose another land to activate it. Oh, they didn't charge it up. Cool. That bodes well for me. LED is rough. That gets them well out of Spell Pierce range. But I don't think that's going to matter. Oh, they have 3 echoes in that graveyard. Okay, so if I Spell Pierce the first echo, then I can Force of Will the second one. Yeah, they have 3 echoes, and they can cast a second one here. Alright, so they've paid for that. And then I can force this one. Now they're out of stuff to do. They're hellbent. Out of mana, out of plays, out of options. Just how I like it. Unfortunately, they're not dead yet. They're in really bad shape. But if they just draw like Lotus Petal, they could be right back in this game. Yeah, just the 1 poison. I can hard cast Force of Vigor, which is pretty nice here. Okay. That's not actually a blue source. Does not do what they need it to. Alright, now they're charging up the zone. Brainstorm, find me, invigorate. Not quite. So, I think Daze is past its prime here. And I think I want to win this game with Inkmoth Nexus. Like, I can't count on the Blighted Agent to get anything done because of the Blast Zone. Out of fetchable lands. I guess I could bounce something with Teferi. Yeah, if I bounce with Teferi, I could spike a pump spell. There we go. That's why you make your decisions before combat. I have learned something. Then we invigorate. And we become immense. Bang. Big poison. Okay, so being the control deck, they kept kind of a slow hand with triple echo, and I was able to just tempo them out kind of somehow, which is weird. That's not how this matchup's normally going to go, but I'll take that. Did my sideboard plan make sense? This counters it. It doesn't bounce it, right? Yeah, it bounces a creature or planeswalker, counters an artifact or enchantment. So my outs to a resolved chalice, etc., is Teferi or Force of Vigor. I don't think I want the surgicals, because normally if Echo's in their graveyard, they're going to cast it and maintain priority to get it there. So that's not where I want to be. I feel like the plows are too reactive, like plowing an Emry, plowing an Urza, plowing a Hull Breacher. If that's just too far off my main plan, I could bring in the Rest in Peace. That does mess up Emry and that other shit. Echo. It also messes up Mavinda and Become Immense. And again, I think that I would rather execute my plan before I focus on shutting down theirs. So I'm on this plan. Just enough disruption to get over the finish line with the Teferi and the Force. Alright, so I have a lot of blue 1-drops. My opponent kept 7. I think I have to mulligan this, as miserable as it is. Like, this isn't winning the game quickly, and I have no disruption. This one is at least has the potential to win the game quickly. Like drawing Invigorate gets it done, but here's Chalice. Alright, fine. I have the Nexus to beat down with. Chalice is really good against this deck. Alright, how brutal is the follow-up? Do we just have the full Urza? Get out of here. The Karn, shut down. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Obliterated. They probably get... I guess they could get Ballista to be super safe. Like Ballista and Liquid Metal Coating do basically the same thing here, which is win the game next turn. I don't know if they have anything... I guess it depends on if they have mana in hand. Like, if they go, like, Lion's Eye Diamond, crack it, minus Karn for Liquid Metal Coating, then I can never win. Alright, they just plussed Karn. Also reasonable. Look, there's the Invigorate. If they didn't have Chalice, I would have won this turn. But they did. Too bad. I'm gonna go face. This is not a matchup where I can pretend to have plays or pretend to work down a Planeswalker. Yeah, they can just wish for Spyglass or Pithing Needle now. Or not Pithing Needle, but Spyglass, turn off Inkmoth, and then game's over. They could also 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're one short of getting Lattice. JK! I am dead. Was already dead. I kept a hand that could win on turn 2, and they had Disruption for it, so not going to feel bad about that. Oh. Didn't pop LED in response to Karn, so they're going for the safe one. Skipping the all-in play for the good enough play. Get Inkmoth awake in response to that. Yep, unfortunately I did not draw a second Invigorate, which is how I win this game. I guess I can kill Karn though. That's not bad. Ugh, feels bad, man. And removing Karn feels good, but being an Invigorate away and not getting there, that feels bad. Oh geez, Hull Breacher. If you want that, it's going to cost you your Lion's Eye Diamond. Alright, LED's down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So they are Hellbent, but they have Hull Breacher. I'm on a 7-turn clock to Hull Breacher. They're on a 9-turn clock to Inkmoth. So they are currently winning this race. I think, like, what is even my good draw now? It's not that. This Force of Vigor is my best draw. Pretty easily. I think I win the game pretty quick if I draw Force of Vigor. If I can clear this Chalice and just unlock this hand. They take a gazillion very quickly. I'm surprised this game is still happening. So all of this is borrowed time right now. This game, I don't think my opponent like punted it or anything. It's just the way that I was managed to wiggle through the Karn cracks, and then their hand just didn't have anything in it. But Force of Vigor, gotta find one quick. The classic. Dead to Chalice. You know, I feel like this used to happen a lot back like 6, 7, 10 years ago, where your opponent just has Chalice of the Void and you lose. And games haven't really been playing out like that in a long time. Like, even the Delver decks have all sorts of interaction and cards that cost other than 1 mana, and what does that do? Nothing important. Okay. I could be just spewing off cantrips right now to fuel a potential Become Immense. But oh, maybe I should be doing that, actually. Interesting. Yeah, that's actually an interesting consideration. But yeah, like I was saying, Delver decks have like 2 and 3 drops these days. The blue-white control decks have all sorts of interaction up the curve. Do I just put my Noble Hierarch in the graveyard? No, because Noble Hierarch plus Scale Up is lethal. And Verdant Catacombs now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I do need to put something in the graveyard. God. What is this 6 drop they have? Oh, is it just Echo? Alright, I guess this doesn't really matter. I'm just dead anyway. Nope. Not giving them the satisfaction. Yeah, that fresh 7 cards should shut it down. Ouch. Chalice the Void, too good. Sigh. Alright, I'm willing to concede at this point. GG's. That was closer than it should have been, but wow, that matchup's bad. Chalice the Void, huge beating for Infect. On the play with a no-lander. That's a mulligan. This does not have an Infect creature in it, but I am going to keep. I'm going to ship the Become Immense. That's the one that takes the longest to get rolling, and I have the 1-2 punch in Invigorate and Berserk in my hand already. So I basically need to brainstorm into a threat and then connect once. Trying to line up that turn 3 win here. Let's see if I just get crushed by another combo deck. Cavern on what? Human. So Mother of Runes is really the only 1-drop human. Okay, alright, that's the only... That one wasn't even on my radar because I don't care. Okay, so I'm gonna brainstorm first. Because if I find Blighted Agent, I'd rather just commit it to the board. Shit. I really wanted to Wasteland my opponent, but I don't think I get to do that. Yeah, my not coming up with a Infect creature. It's a real bad deal. I play 12 of them and I've seen 11 cards and didn't find one. That's just rough beats. Thalia doesn't really ruin my plan. I have so much extra mana here. Noble Hierarch makes Wasteland a lot worse, but that wasn't really going to be part of the plan anyway. Woof, this is a big old champ. The Parish has a powerful champion. In for 5. You got it. Shuffle my deck. Alright, so Bird Teacher is the only white card in the main deck. And compared to... I have 2 Noble Hierarchs. It doesn't matter. I'm just getting drop. Infect creature. Yes! Alright. I'm going to take them off the 5-color mana, so they have to play the game on Bant. And then, bang. Humans. Now they gotta come up with something here or they lose. Like, if they didn't have the Hierarchs, I might have gone after Savannah instead of Cavern to try to take them off of normal white mana, but they have the Hierarchs, so it doesn't matter. Like, trying to play around Plow. But looks like I'm not going to get to do that. Just hope they don't have something that kills me. Alright, white mana. Like Thalia, I can pay 1 for Invigorate, then 2 for Berserk pretty easily. Shit, that's going to name Invigorate. So they're gonna be dead. They take 3, then they take 6. Yeah, that's rough. All right, Meddling Mage, very good here. I need Become Immense. So take 8, go to 5. Yeah, it's not time to block yet. I still have hope. Like a second Berserk would be good. Meddling Mage was so good, and they knew what to name. You always name Invigorate. If you're like a Meddling Mage deck or a Cabal Therapy deck or anything, like Invigorate is always the name. Right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Block, block. Yeah, I have some forced blocks here. I guess Inkmoth Nexus could get in the mix if... Alright, so I'm gonna lose a Hierarch. Or do they just take Blighted Agent? Yeah, that's probably better. Yeah, I think they just take Blighted Agent, and then they attack, and I have to block with both Hierarchs just to be alive. And then I lose. Fucking Meddling Mage. So close. I'm just gonna bluff that I have anything. I don't. Obviously. If Meddling Mage attacks, though, I could Berserk it, but then I die to damage. Ugh. I guess let's see what they attack with. If they want to commit their Hierarchs and everything to the attack... Oh, I probably would have just elbow tapped. Get everything in there. I'm going to block with Inkmoth Nexus because I think the Exalted off Hierarch is going to be worth a lot more. So time to draw Become Immense or Vines of Vastwood. Or do they have more stuff? All right, just one more Hierarch. Okay, so I am drawing live. I have outs. There are cards in the deck. That's not it. And now I lose. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. 7. Okay. Yeah, Vines of Vastwood does it. Become Immense does it. Is that all that does it? Is there more? The second Berserk, I go 2, 4, 8. Yeah, the second Berserk does it. 1, 2, scale up. 3, 4, 5, or 4, 5. Yeah, I was on a 5 outer. That's not great odds, but they were there. Okay, humans. Teferi. Bounce a creature. Swords to Plowshares. Spell Pierce, probably not so good. Daze, probably not great. They're a cavern deck full of creatures, so the soft counters, not where I want to be. Maybe I should leave some number of Force of Will in there, just in case they have Swords to Plowshares or something I care about, like peripherally. I could pivot onto the Uro plan. Like, I could cut the Daze and another Force and just have 2 Uros in the deck. I mean, they're a Caracas deck, so I don't think this is really going to get there, but I do think it's worth a shot. Like, it just gives me another angle to play. And I like having angles to play. This is a big ol' keep. So I think I lead on Glistener Elf, and then I can Noble Hierarch and attack for 2 on the following turn. Yeah, I like the Glistener Elf. They're going to have Plague Engineers after board, I bet. That's gonna be trouble. Scale up. Oh, you're dead. Cool. So bang. Bang. Sometimes. That's how we do it. Infect. All right, we haven't had one of those yet this league. Excited we got one in. Right now we're on the draw against humans. That line becomes a lot harder when they have like Thalia and Meddling Mage and everything that they get to put into play before we get a turn. But feels good. Right back in with the same deck. I don't think I can make it better. Unless I want to commit to just punching my Infect through and just get off the Uro entirely, which I think is a reasonable play. This hand is bad. Like, let's divide this into two halves. Like, if we just look at these four on the right, or what? It looks like I'm playing Shark still. If I look at these three, it's like, what's even happening? All right, that's a mulligan. Here we go. I'm going to ship the... I think Glistener Elf, actually. Because I have Ink Moth and Blighted Agent, both of which are evasive. They're a deck full of creatures. This curve lets me plow something, untap, and Blighted Agent. Or I could just curve out perfectly anyway. Alright, Glistener Elf, let's go. Begin the pressure. Guess I should at least bluff that I have a counterspell. I'm just over here F6ing. What do we got? The Meddling Mage on Invigorate? Sure. I'm ready this time. I think Pendelhaven would be a pretty insane draw right now. I could also just deploy 2 more Infect creatures and pass the turn. They're thinking. What are they thinking about? Just gonna name Uro, blind name Uro, name Swords to Plowshares, so the next Meddling Mage can stick. They've seen white mana, but they haven't seen Plow. I guess they could assume that Plow's in the deck. I don't know, this will be a pretty interesting name. I would just have guessed Invigorate in the dark, but they seem to be thinking about it. Blighted Agent. Okay. Clever. That is the card I was going to cast this turn. Now I have a much better play. I can Brainstorm and Plow them. I don't want Wasteland, and yeah, this is too many lands. Savannah, Swords to Plowshares. I'm gonna hold on to the Invigorate. I think I can do better than just like randomly jamming 5 non-lethal damage here. Them having this Caracas sucks because it makes Uro real bad. And if they commit to a... I guess... Okay, that's back. Gonna name Blighted Agent again? Or is it time to pivot on to Invigorate? Because I will pretty happily play the Blighted Agent if they don't name it. And maybe I'll just draw Berserk and win the game. Maybe now they'll name Plow, now that it's not in my hand anymore. Alright, just refire the Unblighted Agent. Reasonable. Fuck. Blue, green, Lewis. Okay, good. They don't have a cavern. So, Force of Will gives these Blighted Agents new life. Alright, still no cavern. Pretty happy with that situation. Now Uro is looming. Looming over this whole game. Not really, though. Nope. Not on my watch. It's weird they took 1 damage off Silent Clearing when Ancient Ziggurat also cast that card. Okay, I mean, that's mostly the same thing. I guess if they were planning on tapping all their mana that turn anyway, it doesn't matter. Berserk. Invigorate. Alright, Noble Hierarch is really good though. Now I get to actually punch. Alright, and I have creatures of 3 different creature types, so the next Plague Engineer has to make a choice. Like I have an Elf Warrior, a Hermit Druid, or a Human Druid, and a Blink Moth. Like Thalia, I think hurts them more than helps them if they were to cast her onto this board. Oh, Spellbinder. Alright, so that's a flying blocker, and they get to take my Invigorate. That's a good one. I learned in a recent league that this is non-land card. I thought it was non-creature non-land card for the longest time, and I thought it was good then. The fact that it can just like snipe a creature too is insane. Paulo Vitor Damo de Rosa. He made a great choice. This is a cool card. Wow. Why would they leave me with Invigorate when Blighted Agent is already named with Meddling Mage? Are they just representing Swords to Plowshares, and now they know that I'd have to play into a blowout? I don't know, that's weird. Suspicious. Okay, they had the Meddling Mage to name Invigorate with. Alright, yeah, they just had the whole hand locked down. Fair. What do I want to draw here? Probably, like, Teferi? Or I probably just a land to cast Uro with would be the draw. Though the Caracas still messes that up. So I want to draw a land, and then I want Uro to hit Wasteland off of his trigger. Alright, looks like none of that is meant to be. That was the game correcting me, because I should be tapping my land instead of my Hierarch. Get rid of Invigorate, and do I want another Hierarch? Because then Glistener Elf can punch through. Like, they'd have to trade Elite Spellbinder for Glistener Elf. Yeah, I think I kind of like that, actually. Yeah, just putting a 3-power creature on the ground here. Like, making them spend their flying blocker if they want to fight through my ground creature. That's not bad. And I can cast Brainstorm if they have like a second Spellbinder. I can just like spin that around. Spellbinder can also start beating down for 4, but I'm winning that race. They have 6 poison over there. If I find a way to remove that Meddling Mage on Invigorate, they die. And they could set up a double block, but that's just like not even very good. Okay, Mom is a game changer. Absolute game changer there. So Glistener Elf gets to get in one more time. And then it's up to Inkmoth Nexus, because this does not have color, and Mother of Runes can't name colorless. But if they block with any of their Meddling Mages... Okay, so if they block with any of their Meddling Mages, they lose it, and they unlock an important card either way. If they block with Spellbinder, then I have a flying attacker. Wow. That feels reckless, unless they have a removal spell. Like, their last card in hand has to be something really good for that attack to be good. Guess we're about to find out. Charming Prince. Okay, so that can flicker this guy. Alright, yeah, that's fine. It was just a free attack. I was impressed the gall. So I'm gonna brainstorm in response. I know there's a land I can keep on top here. Ooh. Alright, so you get to look at my Verdant Catacombs. And then I get to present a lethal attack. Okay, this is working out really well for me. The Noble Hierarch makes Inkmoth Nexus a 4/4, which gets to punch through Elite Spellbinder before Mother of Runes wakes up. Ooh, can I also Uro this turn? No, I gotta pick one or the other, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I don't think Uro is part of this plan, and Invigorate definitely isn't. Oh wait, I do get to do both. Nope, no I don't. Yes I do. No I don't. I'm incapable of math. 1, 2, no, I don't get to do both. Yeah, one short of doing both. But this is a forced block, and they're in top deck mode. And Mother of Runes does not save them from any of this that's happening. Alright, top deck mode. They have one draw step to rule them all. Exalted. What a powerful ability that is on a mana dork. Excellent stuff. And now they're in a position where, like, even if their top deck keeps them alive for a turn, they need to continue producing flying blockers until they can permanently answer this land. So I guess like Wasteland is a card that they play. That would be their best draw. If they do waste this, then I get to Uro. All right, looks like they bricked. We did it. On to the final round, playing for that positive record. I'm on this draw with a respectable keep in the final round. What I draw for turn will determine if I lead on Glistener Elf or Noble Hierarch. Like if I draw Berserk, I'm just going to go for it. But if there's going to be more sculpting to this game, I'm probably better served by leading on Hierarch. Oh god. We're just playing against Show and Tell again. Oh, interesting. So what does that do for me? That makes me lead on Glistener Elf because I have a turn 2 win. Yeah, so I cast Glistener Elf, and then next turn I cast Noble Hierarch. That's 2, and then we make it 8 with the double Invigorate. Running out that Lotus Petal was weird. Like, now I know they're a combo deck and not just, like, whatever. Like, lots of decks can go Island Preordain. Feel a lot better with a Daze, but that's not what I've been given. Okay, cool. They preordained, which they could still go Soul Land Show and Tell, which would be a problem for me. Alright, they'd need another Lotus Petal to do that from here. Alright, let's draw Force of Will. That wasn't it. I'm gonna Brainstorm first. See if I can pick up some protection. Beautiful. I might as well play around Stifle because I can. Alright, so just shoving in against a 5-card hand with Force of Will backup. Seems pretty reasonable to me. If they fight over Noble Hierarch, I think I don't fight back. Or is that the same as fighting over the attack? Alright. Boom. That's 6. They're pausing like they have something over there. I just hope it's not 2 somethings. days. Do I want to fight over this? Yeah, probably. I'm committed at this point. Let's see how this one goes. They have a second counter spell, whatever. I'll just reload and try again next turn. Force pitching show and tell. Okay. Alright. So they are worried about Invigorate. I probably would have waited for the second one to interact. But so they 4 cards in hand, one of them is Island. They just pitched a show and tell. We're drawing a fetch land. Did I know that? Yeah, I think I did. I had a chance to shuffle my deck and didn't take it. Alright, so in for 3 poison, that makes 5. Invigorate is not quite lethal. I'm not going to show them what I'm working with if I don't have to. Like, there's no reason to go Hellbent to put them to 1 when they might make different decisions based on that information next turn. Uh-oh. I have nothing to put in. Grizzlebrand. F in the chat. So they didn't have that last turn. They drew either the show and tell or the Grizzlebrand this turn. And I was 1 short. So I should have taken the shuffle on the previous turn. I was trying to play around Stifle just to like cover all bases, figuring we were going to win. But then when we didn't win, not shuffling, like if this Misty Rainforest was just a random card that dealt more damage, then probably win this game. All right, do I show them the white mana? I think I do, because if I draw Bird, or I already have white mana. No, I just fetched Tropical Island. Noble Hierarch taps for mana. You think I would know that after 4 rounds already? It's a mystery. It's lost on me. So I can trade with Grizzlebrand. And they just drew 7, so that's not like a great solution. I have to block. And I can protect it with Force of Will. That's pretty funny. Rawr. What if they're draw 7 bricked, but they can draw 14 more right now and just be fine? Ugh. Show and tell is such a bad matchup. They need a lot less to go right than I do, is what this mostly comes down to. Alright, now I have to deal 18 damage with 2 Noble Hierarchs. We got this. It's time to draw Bird Father. Do you think they bricked on 14 cards? I don't. I'm not optimistic. If I were playing, I definitely would have bricked. Like, every time I play show and tell, I just never put A and B together. But my opponents can, like, mull to 4 and have show and tell with Force backup on turn 1. Right, my last-ditch effort here. Maybe none of their 11 cards are any counterspell of any kind. Oh, they're digging. They didn't have one yet. Please get out of here. Put it in the graveyard. Put it in the graveyard. Shit. Alright, we're dead. I guess I'll make them show me the creature. But yeah, we are dead. Okay. I mean, we're technically at 2, but I'm not going to do this. If this was the Pro Tour, I'd make them kill me, but it's not. Okay, so these are the counter spells I brought in last time, and I think on the play I like Veil better than Surgical. On the draw I might do it the other way. Sylvan Library was too slow. Become Immense was a little too slow. I want the counter spells. I think Bird. Sorry, Bird. One of the Hierarchs can go. I think Wasteland can go. Doesn't really contribute to this matchup in a meaningful way. Alright, this is my plan. Let's do it. This is not a turn 2, but it has a lot of protection. And it's close to a turn 2. I mean, I'm not going to do the turn 2 thing. I am going to play Tropical Island and pass. Like, I could play Inkmoth Nexus, hoping to draw Invigorate, and just 10 them on turn 2 with Force backup and Daze backup. But I think it's more important, like, they're also a deck that can turn 1 their combo. So I want to just put my shields up, plan for a turn 3. This gives me room to, like, cantrip into an Invigorate as well. So I do have a pretty strong start here. So I'm going to play Inkmoth this turn. Then I'll draw Invigorate next turn and just go off with Flusterstorm and Force of Will backup. Sound good? And I do get to start pecking away even if I don't draw Invigorate next turn. They could have a Braid in their deck right now. And just like we drew it up, I guess I don't also have Fluster backup because Scale Up costs mana. But I have Daze and Force. Scale this up. Then attack and Invigorate. Ten. Alright, do they have a Braid? Alright, nope, they're just dead. Okay. Just like we drew it up. If you plan to draw Invigorate when you need it, life is good. I don't think anything changes here. On the draw, like the Surgical versus Veil is like kind of interesting. Because like on the draw, if you assume you have to take a defensive posture, the Surgical is better when you're on defense. But like if they spin their wheels for even a turn or two longer than me, the Veil will punch through. Yeah, I think I'm just going to keep the same deck. Make sure to sound off in the comments if you have experience in this matchup, whether you want the Surgicals or the Veils. This is a keep. I'm basically keeping anything with Force of Will in it. Opponent's on 6. The interesting question is whether I ponder on turn 1 to try to hit my second land drop and to maybe find additional protection, or do I get Glistener Elf into play and threaten my push? Because 1 layer of protection doesn't beat Show and Tell. Like, that's just too much of a dream. I guess whether or not I draw a land will weigh heavily on that. Like, I might want to ponder to make sure I get into my Blighted Agent, or if I draw, like, Invigorate, then... Alright, I think I do want to ponder. Because I don't have a turn 2 lined up anyway. Okay, so I do want these lands. Alright, I'm all set on lands for a while. And I guess Glistener Elf and Blighted Agent are pretty comparable permanents in this matchup. Like, if they have a creature that can block Glistener Elf in play, it means they resolve Show and Tell, which means Blighted Agent is also in play. So that's like kind of an interesting metric. So I can Glistener Elf and then ponder again. Or there's one known card. I know Glistener Elf is the top of my deck right now. Alright, I'm going to shuffle and cast Elf, and then cast Ponder. What's all this? Hard casted Daze on me. All right. Veil Agent Elf. This is not what I want. Alright, so if they cast Show and Tell, I'm going to force pitching Blighted Agent. If Show and Tell resolves, I'll put in Blighted Agent, and then Draw Step plus Brainstorm can try to put together 10 points of pump. I did play into Daze here by casting the Ponder, which may have been a mistake, but I think keeping the forward velocity made some sense. Like, if they force back here and they're Hellbent, or if they just have nothing, I will take that. Brainstorm, try to find the win right now. Invigorate's good. Daze is a nice little insurance policy. The bad news is the rest of this hand sucks for a long time. I guess I have the Daze, and then I get to put in Blighted Agent, and I have Inkmoth Nexus lined up. So I am putting a pretty steady amount of poisonous pressure on my opponent. Gotta hope they don't play like Volcanic Fallout or something that Pyroclasms made during combat. So this will put them to 4, this will put them to 8. Yeah, they're not dead yet. And adding Blighted Agent to the board won't increase the clock, and it will play me into Daze. So I just have to hope they brick this turn, and then I can move in next turn. We have to assume at least one card in their hand is a monster, because they went for the sneak attack. And we know that pre-Brainstorm, they didn't have a land. So they had 4 non-land, non-show and tell cards in their hand, and they drew Brainstorm this turn, or else they would have cast it last turn if they had it. So Brainstorm was the draw. They have 4 cards that weren't particularly helpful last turn versus, and now they're brainstorming. Also, putting them to, 4 poison is 1 short of where I want to be, because Invigorate plus 1 is 5. So they are 1 poison short of lethal. Alright, so I'm drawing that other land. Inkmoth Nexus. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to go for Invigorate here. Like, it plays straight into a Braid in a way that I'm not a fan of. I guess I'll target my worst creature at least, in case they have removal. Oh, can't let myself gain 3 life off Invigorate. That would be a really good card. So, are they dead? Okay, I'll take a Force of Will. Pitching Flusterstorm. Wow, played around Flusterstorm. It turns out I did need all those land drops. Nothing to Daze here. So they go to 7 poison. And I can run out Blighted Agent and still play around in enemy Daze. Okay, here we go. This is it. This is the last turn of the game, one way or the other. They're also playing around Daze pretty easily. If their hand is Sneak Attack, Emrakul. We actually still have a game in that case. I actually have to hope it is Emrakul. Oh shit, I was supposed to Daze that! I'm such an idiot! I had the game won! I was just thinking. Okay, it is Emrakul. That's good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I keep my Blighted Agents. Oh god, I'm such an idiot. Alright, we're still gonna win. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh my god. That was the worst play of the league. Easily worst play of the league. They do have to top deck though, but let's hope I go unpunished. Okay. all in. If I lose this, I deserve it. Concede. Yes! Unpunished. That's what happens when you try to play Legacy Magic while narrating Legacy Magic and run recording software in the background. Okay. We dodged. All right, 3-2 record, positive record. The bird teacher was surprisingly good, genuinely insane. Like won us our first 2 matches, and then the rest of the list. There was only really one spot where I was like, Vines of Vastwood is the best card to draw. So I think the way that the deck is constructed with fewer vines and more Force of Will kind of stuff does make a lot of sense. That did pay off. Quandrix Command is kind of a goof. I think that with further testing and once the excitement of Strixhaven wears off, that's probably just going to be like a second to Fairy or just a totally different card. It doesn't really do a whole lot that we need it to. It does like several things reasonably, I guess, but 3 mana, not a good deal on that one. As far as the list goes, and the Poison Shell has been pretty stock for a while. This was great, and yeah, we did beat Show and Tell once, and we lost to it once, so split the difference there. Infect is a more consistent deck than Show and Tell, but Show and Tell is more powerful, so I think splitting the difference is pretty reasonable. We played through some like creature ground kind of decks. We played some control decks, so got a good spread of the matchups that are possible in Legacy here, and I think the deck's good. It's a reasonable choice if you like this kind of thing. It is not what I would do in a tournament, but I'm always worried when I play against this. This does put the fear into control decks pretty significantly. So if you like scaring blue players, this is a good place to be. So Eric, thanks for suggesting that I play Infect. Everyone else, thanks for watching. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.